Two guys of Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Wreckless speculation.
All right, you guys choose your own adventure here on Mackey and Judd today. Daily Minnesota sports, entertainment, speculation, therapy. Old Macadac's going to make his return to Target Center tonight.
Look at you.
Go watch the Timberwolves take on the 76ers. 76ers off a back-to-back in Indiana last night. They beat the Pacers like 147 to 141 or 142 or something. So maybe they're just tired from scoring 147 points.
6:30 start, don't forget. TNT, I believe, right?
Yep. Little TNT action. Jim Peterson with Alan Horton on the radio broadcast for the first time in like 6 years tonight.
I'd love to hear that. Jim Pete's the greatest, and Horton's damn good too.
A Vikings choose your own adventure here. Do you want to start with the latest mock draft from the Todd father himself, Todd McShay?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you want a list that Declan found of recent NFL cap casualties? Like Eric Kendricks was cut by the Vikings. A bunch of other teams are putting still very usable, good players out there on the market.
Yeah.
Do you want to comb through a list and see if there's anyone that interests us? A little reckless speculation on a Tuesday, or a little Todd father? Where do we start here?
I'll take the latter. I'm not sure about Dex. I'll take the reckless speculation because I will always take the reckless speculation.
Okay, the reckless speculation.
I'm addicted.
Okay.
I can't help myself.
All right, I'm just gonna start reading some names here for you guys. Names of players that have been recently cut. You tell me if they pique your interest. We'll start with Frank Clark. The Chiefs and Frank Clark unable to reach common ground on a reworked contract.
Yeah, he's asking for. It sounds like he's asking for quite a bit still. So I'm probably going to take a hard pass on that one.
Okay.
I'm worried.
He's really good.
I'm more concerned about Danielle Hunter remaining a Viking, I guess, than trying to add there with another veteran.
Yeah. Okay. Again, jump in if one of these names
Dex
strikes a chord with you. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if he can become available for a reasonable number, kind of like Zadarius did last year, then you absolutely do it, right? I mean, Zadarius Smith, Frank Clark is 29 years old, and if he doesn't get the market that he wants, I'd be in on that, absolutely.
He definitely elevated his play in the postseason, too, which is a good thing. I feel like Frank Clark was older. You're right. He's 29 years old. He seems like he's older because he's been...
Chiefs are a 4-3, correct?
They are, I believe, a 4-3.
So
yes.
you would also have some... Because Florida's going to play a totally different defense, but it's still a base 3-4. So I don't know that Frank Clark would want to move to a 3-4 base.
He was better in Seattle than he was in Kansas City, but he also wreaked some havoc in the postseason with Kansas City and came away with a couple championship rings. Interesting. The Titans cut Bud Dupree, pass rusher Bud Dupree. So he signed a fake 5-year, $82 million contract in 2021, and then life came at him fast, and so he was released. He has not lived up to the expectation of that contract. I'm out on Bud Dupree, unless you guys. But he does come from the same system that Brian Flores is going to run. It's that sort of Vrabel, Belichick, 3-4 type system.
I'm with you.
The Titans also cut Barstool's own Taylor Lewan. I'd take him just like at Score North as a podcaster.
Yeah, I think he's physically shot. If I'm not, he seems like he's been hurt just a ton. In his prime, he's really good, but yeah, I think you're good at tackle.
He might just be good in getting into a media career here at some point too.
Yeah,
he might even. Who knows? At this point, maybe you can make more money not getting smashed around in the trenches on a regular basis. Okay, how about Robert Woods, wide receiver Robert Woods, also cut. The Titans are just cutting everyone here. So Robert Woods, he interests me. Yeah. He's not going to be like the explosive deep threat that you really want next to Jefferson. But if you're looking for someone that can run block really well and be a possession receiver, he's not. He's like 30. He'd be pretty affordable. So Robert Woods interests me, and he has experience with Kevin O'Connell.
Correct. Yes. In fact, I read a pretty intriguing piece when he was released. I think he was released like 2.5 weeks ago about that exactly, and about his familiarity with the Ram system, which of course is what O'Connell does here. You know what? If Thielen is gone, Robert Woods intrigues me as the replacement for what Thielen would have done. So not the number 2 guy, but there's a place for guys like this. Don't underestimate too the importance of a wide receiver who can block. It's thankless. It sucks. They hate it. So if you get a guy who can embrace it, That one at the right salary, which I think it would be a 1 year probably incentive laden contract, something like that. Yes, I'm with you. Intrigued.
Yeah, I like this one a lot because he is familiar with Kevin O'Connell. At one time was a good stretch the field a little bit more, but the blocking is huge. He likes the system. This could be someone that you could bring in for a cheaper side and be potentially a wide receiver 2/3 in your offense. I would like this a lot.
If you replace, I know some Viking fans are going to hate this, but if you were to replace this version of Adam Thielen with a healthy version of, well, that's not fair. The healthiest versions of Thielen and Woods that exist right now, if you were to make that swap, I think the Vikings would be better with Robert Woods. I think I don't buy into this like Thielen's. There's another level there still,
Right.
So the question there is, if you made that swap, would you then still maybe draft a receiver and have some youth coming in? Would that guy even have snaps because KJ Osborne has been productive too?
Yep.
We'll see. Continuing with the Titans trend here, this is an interesting one because, again, it's the same defense, 3-4 defense in that sort of Belichick style, Mike Vrabel. Mm-hmm. Zach Cunningham is a linebacker and a former second-round pick by the Texans. I believe he got traded to the Titans a couple years ago, and then he signed a contract in 2012. Oh, maybe this was it. He might have signed – he signed a 4-year, $58 million contract. They're getting out from basically the last year of that. 6'3", 230, one of the better run-stopping linebackers in the league between 2017 and 21. Ooh. Struggled and was banged up last year.
At the right price, I would definitely kick the tires on that one, wouldn't you? I mean, you
and
do.
And he's 28 years old. Okay. Just turned 28 in December.
Yes.
Tremont Edmonds is going to be the linebacker that gets probably paid the most. He's entering after his rookie deal. He's still only 24 years old. He's probably going to get a big payday. If the Vikings had cap flexibility, that'd be like probably Brian Flores' number one target to go after and get. And I'm guessing Edmonds is probably going to be more motivated by dollar signs since he's still 24 and could cash in on a big payday. But if you can't get that first line guy in Tremont Edmonds, then yes, you need to see the secondary options, and they need to obviously rebuild that position with them cutting Kendricks. I think Jordan Hicks is also an inevitable cut. So that probably is someone that will slide in there that would make some sense.
No. I'm definitely interested. Any sort of like good linebacker that's 28, 26 years old that doesn't break the bank and knows the system, very interested. All right, Leonard Fournette. Would you believe Leonard Fournette is still only 28 years old? He just turned 28 years old in January. Guy's been around seemingly for, he spent 3 years in Jacksonville, then Tampa.
He's 84. I'm out.
But still relatively effective. You know, if you can get Leonard Fournette, let's say you got rid of Dalvin Cook, Leonard Fournette in a shared backfield.
Right. No, I'm going
You're
young
out.
there. I'm going young there.
He did catch 73 passes last year. Now Brady is the ultimate check down guy in a good way. And he has familiarity even with other systems where he was featured a ton as a pass catching back in Jacksonville. He caught 76 passes too. So he can catch the ball, which is something that would be a nice utilization of that position. But he's 28 and I'm probably out on that idea.
That's funny. He was 3.5 yards a carry last year, only a tick under 4 yards a carry for his career. And also just like playing with Tom Brady tends to elevate you.
Yeah.
So, whatever. If it was almost free, okay. But like if you got rid of Dalvin Cook, the goal would be to get as cheap and young and multifaceted as you possibly could. Who else here? Let's see. What about Houston Texans center or former Houston Texans center, Justin Britt. So I'll give you a little information about Justin Britt. He's going to turn 32 years old in May, so he's on the older side. He was a second-round pick by the Seattle Seahawks back in 2014. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Justin Britt I don't know if he was like banged up or something. He's been basically a league average center for like 4 years until last year. He only played 70 snaps.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. I don't think he's an upgrade over. He's 6'6" for God's sake, so he's a tall center, but probably a no on that one. All right, and the rest are like quarterbacks: Carson Wentz, Marcus Mariota. Probably not gonna find a place as a backup. Be interesting if Carson Wentz came on for like $1 million to be the backup quarterback, but I think they're good with Nick Mullins and the chemistry. I mean, Nick Mullins and Kirk Cousins hang out, right?
Yeah, they're like buddies. Helped him with the code words and the cadence and the offense. He said he plays it in his car. That's what Nick Mullen says he does. He listens to the cadence on the drive home out of the facility, and then Kirk started adopting that as well. It's actually kind of genius. I used to do that with studying in college. I would record my notes, and then I would play it.
You would voice your own notes?
Yep. And then I would play it as I was walking to class. Dead serious.
Did it help?
Sure. It helped.
There's no idea.
It helped more with, than what I didn't do, I guess. So it worked to a degree.
So what? Okay. So how would this work? You'd be in a class and you would be.
No. So I would. I was the classic guy. This will not shock you boys at all. All right, I have to get this amount on the test to get this grade in the class. What do I have to do to get this grade, right? So I would cram and I would study and I would take notes. And then, yes, I would record it like close to bedtime. Like I would record it like me reverbating like
smart.
all of my notes.
I'm saying you would be taking notes in class on a notebook or something.
Yeah.
And then you would read those notes into a recorder.
Yes.
And then listen to the notes.
And I would listen to the notes like on the walk in this 8-10 minute walk from my house into campus at St. Cloud. Yeah. I liked it. Actually,
I would just play online poker in the back of the lectures and hope and pray for the tests. That was pretty much like the last 2 or 3 years of my college.
I had to grind my arse off just to get a C in class. I couldn't play poker in the background, so I was doing all the necessary and probably unnecessary steps to try to retain the information.
One time I took I think it was like an entry when I got into the journalism school at Minnesota, and I took a class. It was like, I can't remember what it was called, but it was basically intro to like AP style writing. And I had already taken that class in high school. You could take some college in the schools classes in high school. And for some reason, that credit did not transfer over. I don't remember why. And so it's like we literally went through all the same curriculum, whatever. And I had like 5 different classes happening at the same time, like any student would. And so I didn't like put a lot of effort into that class and wound up getting an A- in the curriculum, but I didn't participate a whole lot in I didn't like raise my hand in class a lot. I just kind of like showed up, went through the motions, got an A-, whatever, right?
Love those type of students, but yes.
Okay. I got an A-, but I put effort in the other classes.
But you were taking the class before, and
That's
you
right.
just had to retake it.
Actually, that's smart. You
know what?
I was conserving energy.
Yep.
And here's the thing. I got an A- on the coursework.
Mm-hmm.
So like the tests and everything and the subjective grades and then the actual like written or the multiple choice tests. He gave me a C for the semester. It's you probably know him. I don't want to say his name, but he was an old Star Tribune editor.
Chris Hyson?
No.
Paul McEnroe?
No. I love Mac.
Paul McEnroe? Mac's great. Oh, Mac he was Bulldog.
R.I.P.
Hold on a second here. I can probably guess it. An editor at the Star Tribune?
Or I think, yes.
Or a writer.
I'm pretty sure. He was adjunct from the Star Tribune. I'm pretty sure he was an
the
editor.
Star Tribune has so many people.
I don't want to say his name because I'm going to rip him, but I'll tell you off mic and you can. He gives me a C.
You paid for the class. I'd like to hear his name.
Yeah. So I called him and I'm like, what happened? All the coursework, I got an A- and you gave me a C. He goes, yeah, I'm dropping your grade to a C because I feel like you didn't improve and participate as much as some of the other students in the class did. Oh. And I was like, you can do that? So I negotiated to a B- so I wouldn't have a C on my
really care that much?
guy.
Like, well, one, I agree
I'd
with
never
you.
gotten a C before. I was like a high school overachiever. I'd never gotten a C.
You never got a C?
That was my first.
Jeez.
That was my
my
first. My
God,
first C or lower.
I
It was in
transferred
college.
classes at Benilde. I missed a final because I slept too long one day, and I was marked down as my God. And then I rushed in. So I was supposed to be up by 7 or something like that. I accidentally slept till like 8:30 or 9. I missed a final, and so I rushed in to take it. And it was during the commencement practice, which is great fun. So I just guessed the entire test. The teacher liked me and passed me. It was great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is privilege right there.
It was because I got marked down and it's like, you're a senior that missed a final. I'm like, okay, cool. I got the test. I just guessed.
See, I was the opposite of Phil. I was the participator in class. I was always raising my hand, always asking questions and commenting, and then the tests and everything else was like C work, but the participation level was like A work.
That was me in Spanish class. I accidentally tested into a Spanish class that was too high. Like 30, they do like an entry test. Here's these 30 questions in Spanish. Do your best, and then based on the results, we'll place you. And I just like got super lucky on the test tested up a level. And that was me. I got like D's on all the coursework because I missed like conjugation.
Well, you didn't
stuff.
belong.
But I was funny and animated up in front of the room during the group participation thing.
But I know what
that's.
But Dex's problem now would actually be solved because Dex, I bet you are a verbal learner. So like if you listen to something, you probably retain it. My guess is because of your personality, you're not very good, and I'm not either, at taking notes and like retaining stuff. So like reading the notes is really, really smart. Now
so
I
don't
think
send Declan a long email, basically.
now I think that they would know, but I'm just
gonna leave you like
there's
6-minute voice memos
because guys
now.
like Phil drove me crazy because like you test well, and like I don't test well.
You're the worst.
And like I had to work to pass tests, which was a bunch of crap.
Tests are all logic, man. It's all just like there's four
unnecessary.
options. One of them is clearly wrong.
Tests
and
are
then
stupid because life is not tests. Life is lessons.
Life is all tests. Everything's a test in life.
But you don't sit down with a sheet of paper and have to pass a test in life.
I'd much rather give a speech than take a test.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Anytime.
You verbally are strong. I'm with you on this completely. But the other thing, too, is I would love to set a curriculum for a college journalism class. AP writing as a freshman is one of the most backwards, stupid things. First of all, newspapers all have different styles. So, like, AP doesn't get to pass the rules. The second thing is...
I tried to tell him that, too. Huh?
Didn't work.
The second thing is...
Why does AP get to make the rules for this class?
Freshmen who think that they want to get into journalism should not be going through standardized, like, here's where the semicolon goes. You should be going through lessons that even teach you if you want to be in journalism.
Yes, this is true.
Amen.
It's such a waste
I agree
of
with
time.
that.
AP,
And then by the end, you
style
realize
book.
you probably don't.
Do you know where I used the style book when I worked on the copy desk at the Star Tribune? Like, that's how nuanced a crap that is. Like, they should be trying to give you should be going out and like getting stories to write, because a lot of folks will say, oh, this isn't what I thought it was. It's not fun. People don't like me. I quit.
Well,
so now
thank God I emerged from that traumatizing college experience as a perfect specimen and human being. That's all.
I just want to know who the teacher was. I'll talk to him still.
So, well, those are some Vikings potential free agent targets for you guys that are
sorry about that, folks.
available right now.
Good stories, though.
We have a couple more things here. We have a Toddfather mock, Todd McShay. He has his 2.0 released early this morning here. I have not gone through this yet. There is a projected trade number 1. You guys ready to fly through a little Toddfather action?
Take your time. Are you kidding?
Presented by our friends at Vivront, who have introduced me to a beautiful website called MyDullKnives.com. All right. If you live in shame because you have dull knives, last night with newly sharpened kitchen knives, I sliced into the most beautiful tomato, no squishing, cucumbers, tomatoes. We were being healthy yesterday. All right. No longer do I have to walk around in shame around the streets of Minneapolis, people pointing and laughing at that's the guy with the dull knives.
You just moved back here with his dull knives.
MyDullKnives.com, where the folks at Vivront will send you a safe and professional mail kit. You can send your dull knives on a little vacation, a little spa week for your dull knives. Vivront, after a couple days, mails them back to you. They'll even send you replacement knives in the interim, freshly sharpened in the end. It's a game-changing experience for any of you who are looking to do more in the kitchen, just be more adults like my wife and I over the past few months. MyDullKnives.com. Find out more at MyDullKnives.com.